back to the episode of Bike Talk with BikeLane. This is Bike Checks with Ed. I'm Ed, and this is the 2021 Throne Goon XL. This is the metal combat. So there's a couple of different colors. We also have the blue, black, and red. And I chose the metal combat today because to me it looks pretty cool. It has a gold, it's like a silver flake paint job with gold accessories on it. So it actually looks really nice with the combo combat wheels. So it's just like a camouflage paint job on the aluminum rims. So it's a really nice looking bike. So for all of you guys that don't know, this is pretty much a big BMX bike. So it's great for cruising around. The fat tires makes a really stable bike. You can run them at low pressure if you want to get extra grip, even if you want to do some off-roading on this thing. You could do jumping on it, or you could just cruise. So it's a really nice bike, great for wheelies, has perfect geometry. Let's start off at the front end. So up top here, Throne gives you 32-inch wide handlebars. The wider the handlebar, the more stable your ride feels. There's a lot of people that I realize that don't really pay attention to the width of their handlebars, but it makes a huge difference. Wider handlebar makes it more stable. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna tell you if you're riding around in city streets, it's harder to get through traffic, but either way, you shouldn't be weaving through traffic or through tight corners. But yeah, wider handlebar makes your bike feel a lot more stable, especially if you're riding very aggressively. It's a 25/4 clamp on here. It's a BMX stem. This guy has a reach of 50mm reach. So the shorter the stem, the more responsive your bike is gonna feel also, which also makes a big difference. It's pretty standard now. Most companies just go with 50mm. But if you really want to get into it, you can get into some of the BMX brands like Odyssey, Profile, Primo, Colt. Everybody makes different length stems. So if you really want to dial in your bike, you can really get into it. We have a chromoly lower fork. So chromoly is a type of steel. So it's a chromoly lowers, it's high tensile steel in the steer tube. So it's a pretty strong fork. It does come with a disc brake mount to weld it onto the fork. So you can put a front disc brake on here if you wanted to. The front wheel is a 27.5 3.0 tire. So it's a really fat tire. This tire goes up to, I believe it's 55 PSI. I'm double checking for you guys. (30 PSI). So anywhere from 10 to 30 PSI in this guy. So at max pressure, it's gonna be super low rolling resistance, so you can ride really fast. At lower pressure, it's gonna give you a lot more grip. This is a 45mm wide rim, so it's a really wide rim for a wide tire, and you still have more room on here. So it's a 3.0 tire, and you can still go fatter if you really wanted to. You have plenty of room in the fork and in the frame. So with the 45mm rim, we also have a sealed bearing 3/8 axle front hub, which is a very strong hub. So Throne really thought about it. They really went in and made sure that the bike is kind of bulletproof so it'll last. So sealed bearings is a big deal. We have sealed bearings in the headset. We have sealed bearings in the both wheels, sealed bearing bottom bracket. The back wheel is what I really want to get to because that's really impressive this year. So Throne did a 14mm axle in the back. It's a fat axle, super huge. You do have to run different style peg now. It has to be a bolt-on peg, no more screw-on pegs. But this axle makes your bike so much stronger. You can jump on it, throw this thing off a cliff. This is what BMX has been riding for years now. 14mm axle in the back, so you have extra strength, so it can take whatever you throw at it. In the back, we have a cassette hub. So you can swap out the cogs to different sizes if you want it to be softer or harder. Comes with a standard 16-tooth cog. It's a disc brake in the back as well. So you have a 160mm rotor. And it has a Tektro Aries brake, which is a really nice brake. It's a cable actuated brake. We're gonna jump back up to the top real quick. We have a Tektro 2-finger lever. So the 2-finger lever gives you a really nice feel. There are single finger levers if you wanna have more grip on your handlebar. You can run this as a single lever as well. You can just space it out away from your grip. And I almost forgot to mention that we do have kind of some Throne lookalike ODI grips on here, which do offer some nice grip, and they're pretty soft as well. And you also have your pad. But the Tektro Aries brake is a cable actuated brake. Up top here, it's internally routed in the frame, so it looks super clean. There's no cable hanging. The cable you just see here, and then you see the cable come out in the back. It's a 160 mil rotor, as I mentioned before, with semi-metallic pads. So once you break it in, it's super sharp brake. Jumping back to the drivetrain, 16 tooth cog in the back. We have a standard style chain, which in my opinion is definitely worth upgrading your chain. You can get a heavy duty chain or even a half link chain on here, because the chain ring is actually pretty thick on here, so it can hold a half link no problem. Throne gives you 175 millimeter chromoly cranks. It's a Euro bottom bracket, sealed bearings, which is pretty standard on these guys. SE actually did an American bottom bracket on a couple of their bikes. Which American is like super big bearings, super heavy, but it is very strong. Euro bottom bracket's also just as strong. So 175 millimeter cranks. Crank arms do come in different lengths. Different lengths is going to give you a different feel. Longer crank arms is going to be a longer rotation. It's going to be slower to get around. Shorter crank arms is going to get around faster. So if you really want to whip your bike, a shorter crank arm is definitely going to help you out. We have on here a 33 tooth chain ring up front. 33/16 for this size wheel is going to be pretty standard. It's going to feel pretty good for cruising around, or if you really need to hustle, you can really pick up. If you want to go faster, you put a bigger chain ring. If you want to go a little slower and kind of just pick up your bike easier, you put a smaller one. We have here aluminum platform pedals, which are pretty decent pedals in my opinion. So Throne this year really did it up with some pretty decent parts on here. The bike doesn't come with pegs, but with the nice pedals, it's definitely a nice upgrade. Jumping up top, they give you a quick release seat clamp on here. So the quick release clamp, you can easily adjust your seat up and down. And it's a 27.2 seat post, which is pretty standard. Actually, no, I'm lying to you. This is a 25.4 seat post. 27.2 seat post. 27.2 seat post, which is pretty standard. Clamp top, so it holds on there really tight, and you can always angle it down. Throne does give you their padded seat. So has a couple of logos on there, but it's a really nice thick padded seat. And if you guys want to check it out, we have it here at the shop, or you can head over to your local Throne dealer. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, you can email us, call us, even come by. We're here every day except for Wednesday.